I call this meeting to order. Everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Stiglick, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee DeCola. Here. Trustee Heelsman. Here. Trustee Kokolka.
Here.
Trustee Scroggins.
Here.
Trustee Denolfo.
Here.
Trustee Greco.
Here.
Mayor Sorelius.
Here. There being a sufficient number of members present, this meeting is hereby declared to be in order. The first item of business before the board is a public hearing for the 2018-2019 annual budget. I open the public hearing. Clerk Stiglick, can you please swear in anyone who wants to speak?
Anyone who cares to speak about the budget, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give this evening is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Please be seated.
Will the Finance Director please give your report?
Thank you, Mayor. Before the village this evening is our 2018-2019 budget. Highlights of this budget include the following. The operating budgeted revenues are exceeding operating expenditures. We will be rebating property taxes to our residents for the 9th year for a total of $1,375,000. We are adding one additional laborer and converting one part-time employee to full-time. We are spending over $1.3 million on contractual roadway maintenance. We are setting aside funds in the Vehicle and Equipment Replacement Fund for future purchases. The following projects are included in the budget. Water mains replacement on Cedar Road and Route 30, which will be financed with IEPA loan. Constructing a new bicycle trail south of Nelson Road extension, which will be financed with balance of GO bond proceeds. The regional wastewater treatment facility design conveyance is included in the budget. Route 30 beautification will be completed by enhancing the medians as planned. The site improvements at Route 30 and Vancina will be completed. The Route 30 metro station design will be completed and construction will begin later in the fiscal year. The operating revenue covers operating expenses. We have reached one of our strategic goals of maintaining over a 3-month operating reserve in the general fund. In conclusion, the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget allows for the continuation of quality services for residents and addresses future capital needs.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
With the addition of the 2 full-time employees, how many full-time employees does the village have?
We now have 110 full-time employees.
With the total operating budget of $45.7 million, how does this compare to the previous fiscal year?
The fiscal year 2017-2018 total operating budget was $38.6 million.
Does the budget include all of the same special events that were offered in the previous fiscal year?
In addition to last year's events, there are additional special events included in the budget, such as a new children's event.
Are there any other comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, let's move on to the order of business. Village Administrator Slomski, please give an update for the new CVS located at Route 30 and Cedar Road.
Thank you, Mayor. The utilities have been relocated from Church Street, and the ComEd poles have been relocated along Route 30 to allow construction of the CVS to finally begin. The temporary metro station has also been put into place so that the existing metro station can be prepped to be relocated by the Historical Society.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
What is the status of the second proposed building for the site?
Because one of the anticipated tenants will be moving to another location, the developer of the retail building is considering redesigning the building to include a drive-through.
When will construction of the new metro station begin?
Staff continues to work with our architect, engineer, and the Metro on the final plans and anticipated costs for the project, including the funding that Metro can commit to. Most likely, the new station will begin construction next year.
Thank you. Let's move on to your report on consolidating taxing bodies.
Thank you, Mayor. There have been some inquiries from residents about consolidating the various taxing districts that serve the village and the New Lenox Township as a way of reducing the number of government bodies.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
What would be the benefits from consolidation?
There could be savings from property taxes if duplicate services and layers of government could be reduced.
What would the process be to pursue consolidation?
Staff has just begun to research this issue. First, a committee should be established to determine whether consolidation has any financial benefits. Ultimately, the question of consolidation will require a referendum approved by the voters.
I make the motion to put together a committee to investigate consolidation of taxing bodies.
I second the motion.
A motion was made by trustee Kukulka and seconded by trustee Greco to put together a committee to investigate consolidating of taxing bodies. Clerk Stiglick, roll call, please.
Trustee DeCola.
Yes.
Trustee Heelsman.
Yes.
Trustee Kukulka.
Yes.
Trustee Scroggins.
Yes.
Trustee Denolfo.
Yes.
Trustee Greco.
Yes.
Mayor Sorelius.
Yes. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is repave Route 30, contact IDOT.
There have been many complaints about the condition of Route 30. Because Route 30 is a state highway, the village is not responsible for the maintenance and repair of the road. Staff continues to report issues to IDOT as it is up to the state of Illinois to address them.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
The part of Route 30 near the I-80 interchange is in really bad condition. Cars veer off of the roadway to avoid the huge dip in the pavement. The state really needs to address this area before accidents occur.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, let's move on to community development parking regulations.
Staff works with developers of commercial and industrial projects to ensure that there is adequate parking during the highest demand times. Staff also tries to reduce the amount of pavement that is provided, but not used very often. In some cases, the business has minimum parking requirements that are higher than the village's, so that they're prepared for the day after Thanksgiving.
Thank you for that report. How are the parking requirements calculated?
The minimum parking requirements are based on the type of use and square footage. For some businesses, like restaurants, additional parking is required for employees. Parking in industrial businesses is based on the number of employees.
When was the last time the village reviewed its parking requirements to make sure they are still reasonable?
With the exception of minor revisions to address changes to some types of uses, the parking requirements haven't been updated in several years.
I make a motion for the village to study its parking regulations to determine whether the village code should be updated.
I second the motion.
A motion has been properly made and seconded to direct staff to study the village's parking regulations. Clerk Stiglick, roll call, please.
Trustee DeCola.
Yes.
Trustee Heelsman.
Yes.
Trustee Kukulka.
Yes.
Trustee Scroggins.
Yes.
Trustee Denolfo.
Yes.
Trustee Greco.
Yes.
Mayor Sorelius.
Yes. The motion carries. Let's move on to the comprehensive plan report.
The village is currently working with a consultant to update the village's comprehensive plan, which serves as a blueprint for the future development of the village. The next public forum is May 24th at 6 p.m. at the New Lenox Library. Everyone in the community is invited to attend.
Comments or questions from the board?
As the village continues to grow and develop, the comprehensive plan is very important tool to guide the vision for the future of the community. I hope our residents attend the public forum to comment on the proposed update.
Will the comprehensive plan update address the need for different types of housing, such as senior housing or housing for young professionals?
Part of the consultant team included a market expert that looked at demand for different types of housing for the different types of household and families in the village.
When will the comprehensive plan update be completed?
Staff anticipates a draft of the final document to be ready for a public hearing later this year.
Let's move on to the engineer's report on the installation of stoplights at Lincoln Way High Schools.
Thank you, Mayor. Lincoln Way Central has an intersection along Route 30 which is under the jurisdiction of the Illinois Department of Transportation, and Schoolhouse Road is under the jurisdiction of the Will County Highway Department. When IDOT completed their Route 30 improvements a few years ago, a stoplight was not warranted at this location. Additionally, the intersection is very close to a signalized intersection at Schoolhouse Road. Lincoln Way West is bordered by Illinois Highway, which is under the jurisdiction of the New Lenox Township Highway Commissioner, and Gauger Road, which is under the jurisdiction of the Will County Highway Department. There is a traffic signal located at the intersection of Illinois Highway and Gauger Road.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the trustees?
Is there anything the village can do to get these traffic signals installed?
Staff can contact the Will County Highway Department and IDOT and request these traffic signals. These improvements have not been included in any of the long-range plans staff have received from other agencies. It is not clear where funding for traffic signals would come from.
I make the motion to have staff work with these agencies to have stoplights installed at the high schools. This is a safety issue.
I second the motion.
A motion has been made and seconded. Clerk Stiglick, please call roll.
Trustee DeCola.
Yes.
Trustee Heelsman.
Yes.
Trustee Kokolka.
Yes.
Trustee Scroggins.
Yes.
Trustee Denolfo.
Yes.
Trustee Greco.
Yes.
Mayor Sirelius.
Yes. The motion carries. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, overpass for CN Railroad.
Staff has been working with IDOT, Will County Highway Department, and Canadian National Railroad regarding a grade separation at Gauger Road. Our consultant has prepared preliminary plans that include a bridge to allow Gauger Road to go over the train tracks. All parties have agreed the proposed plan works for everyone. However, this project is estimated to cost around $30 million, which is not budgeted by any of the agencies at this point.
Thank you for that report. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
Are there any grants or other funding sources available to help pay for this project?
Staff is currently working with our consultant and the other governmental agencies to find other funding sources. Additionally, Gauger Road is a Will County road.
Let's move on to the MFT program for 2018.
The 2018 MFT project includes approximately 5 miles of road, including the southern area of the Stonebridge subdivision, streets in the Wildwood subdivision, Cherry Hill Estates, Moss Road, Joliet Highway between Spencer Road and Wisconsin Road, Spencer Road between Joliet Highway and Route 30, and various patching. Staff is working with the New Lenox Township Highway Commissioner to include sections of Joliet Highway and Spencer Road.
Any comments or questions from the board?
How do we select roads for the project each year?
The Engineering and Public Works Department create a 5-year plan for the resurfacing project. Each year, staff reevaluates the list and makes any necessary changes to the list. The streets are evaluated based on the condition of the road along with the curb and gutter. The village receives better prices when entire or large areas of a subdivision can be completed together.
What is the typical yearly budget for this project?
The typical budget is around $1.5 million.
I make a motion to approve the streets for the 2018 MFT program.
I second that motion.
A motion has been properly made and seconded to approve the 2018 MFT program. Clerk Stiglick, roll call, please.
Trustee DeCola.
Yes.
Trustee Heelsman.
Yes.
Trustee Kokolka.
Yes.
Trustee Scroggins.
Yes.
Trustee Denolfo.
Yes.
Trustee Greco.
Yes.
Mayor Sirelius.
Yes. The motion carries. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda. Chief Building Inspector Baumgartner, please give your report on housing and other permit activities.
Thank you, Mayor. Year to date, we have issued 209 permits with a total construction value of almost $19 million and permit fees of $150,000. This includes 42 new houses, 1 industrial building, and 2 commercial buildings.
Thank you. Are there any trustee comments or questions?
How did the housing starts compare to this time last year?
There are currently 42 new housing starts, and at this time last year, we had 33 houses, so we are ahead of last year's pace.
Are there any commercial projects under construction or scheduled to begin this year?
There are several current projects under construction.
The Horizon Senior Living Center is currently finishing and should be ready for occupancy in June. This building is 53 dwelling units designed for senior living. The Dunkin' Donuts on Route 30 is nearly completed and should be opening this summer. CVS Pharmacy just received their permit for a new building at Route 30 and Cedar Road and will begin construction soon. Plans are currently being reviewed for a multi-tenant building on the site adjacent to the CVS building. The plans include a restaurant with space for an outdoor patio. The Silver Oaks Behavior Hospital is under construction and just completed their steel framing and installation of the precast panels. The foundation was just poured for a multi-tenant building on Lot 16 in front of Walmart. This building includes plans for a new Chipotle restaurant. The plans for a new Cooper Hawks restaurant was just approved, and that building will begin soon with a proposed occupancy date of November 2018. There is also a Pete's Fresh Market planned for a property at Route 30 and Vicina, and that project is scheduled to begin next year.
This is great news for New Lenox. So much new development coming to New Lenox. Are there any comments or questions from the village board? Hearing none, let's move on to Green Building.
The International Code Council recently developed the Green Building Code and is available for adoption by local municipalities.
Are there advantages to the village adopting this code?
Currently, the village has adopted the International Energy Code, and enforcement of this code saves homeowners and building owners money on their energy bills. Ultimately, this also reduces the fossil fuels and non-renewable energy sources.
Is there a code that regulates green building?
The Green Building Code encourages the use of recycled building materials and using renewable energy as their building components. If the board is in favor of adopting this code, it would be a good complement to the Energy Conservation Code that is currently in effect.
This is definitely worth looking into. Let's move on to the Economic Development Department. The first item is restaurants and new businesses.
Thank you, Mayor. The village continues to pursue potential businesses and will be attending several International Council of Shopping Centers events this year to promote the village. With respect of the list of businesses, the board requested, after contacting Chick-fil-A, the response I received is that New Lenox is too close to another Chick-fil-A in Orland Park. Corner Bakery has looked at sites in New Lenox and is evaluating where another corner bakery will be built. Since the Orland Park restaurant closed, New Lenox might be in a good position for this restaurant. I keep in touch with their real estate executive so that New Lenox stays on their radar. Texas Roadhouse is a franchise, which means a person has to want to invest in a New Lenox Texas Roadhouse. The cost of investing could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's very difficult for villages or municipalities to identify possible franchises unless one who owns a restaurant in a nearby town is willing to invest in an additional restaurant in New Lenox. The lack of restaurants or other retail businesses at the I-355 and Route 6 interchange is due to no one wanting to be first. I have explained to many restaurants or retailers that in addition to population data that brokers or owners can use in identifying potential customers, Silver Cross Hospital calculated that there are 4,000 to 5,000 average daily visitors that access the hospital campus. One would think that a restaurant would understand how many patrons this will bring them in addition to the nearby population, but it hasn't been enough to get one started.
Any comments or questions from the board?
Do restaurants or other businesses considering to open in New Lenox use the same criteria like population or income levels?
Most retailers or restaurants use population within a few miles of a proposed development. However, other criteria can vary based on the success of other locations where a particular retailer is. For example, some retailers want a certain median income level because customers making a certain income frequently come to their business in other locations. New Lenox actually has a median income that was too high for one retailer, which was a shoe store. But that is an exception. Trader Joe's wants the majority of the population to have a college degree. It's challenging to try to find a business that we know that fits based on all of the retailer's criteria.
If retail building is in flux or changing from what we know as it is today, why is Joliet contemplating a new mall by I-355?
This is an excellent question. A developer is planning to build a large mall called Rock Run Crossings in Joliet at a site by I-55 and I-80. There is no interstate access, and that has to be built to provide access to the site. What is interesting about a potential new mall is that while stores are closing at the Louis Joliet Mall, this mall is in the works. I trust that market studies have been conducted to justify retailers coming to this location.
Any more comments or questions from the board? Let's move on to Police Department Traffic Control Report. Police Chief Snyder, please give your report.
There have been questions regarding crossing guards at intersections near schools. It would be the responsibility of the schools to provide crossing guards. The police department could possibly have an officer stationed near a school that is located on a busier street. For instance, Oster Oakview School is located on Cedar Road, which is a busy street. This might help with speeding near schools. We have no major traffic issues that we are currently dealing with. There is construction being done on South Cedar Road, but there have been no major traffic issues as a result of the construction. We recently had the Loyalty Day Parade, which went off with no issue. We will continue to notify the public of any major traffic issues or road closures utilizing the Nixle Notification Center.
Please remember that Nixle is a free notification system, but you do have to sign up online if you wish to receive these types of notifications. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
When there are traffic issues or events in the village, are the police officers the only people responsible for directing traffic?
Patrol officers are responsible for handling any traffic-related issues. New Lenox Emergency Services and Disaster Agency, or ESDA, can also be responsible for directing traffic. ESDA officers are highly trained in traffic control and assist the police department during emergency situations and also pre-planned events.
Thank you for that report. Let's move on. Police Chief Snyder, please give your report on curfew.
As the weather has finally warmed up, we've started to receive complaints of kids hanging out at night in several areas like Burger King, Taco Bell, and a few of the parks. Officers will be conducting additional patrol in these areas and handling any curfew violations appropriately. We also utilize our ESDA personnel throughout the summer months, at which time they do additional checks of all the parks in the village.
What is the curfew for kids in New Lenox, and does the police department enforce it?
Sunday through Thursday, the curfew for minors under the age of 17 is 11 p.m. The curfew on Fridays and Saturdays is midnight. Officers do enforce curfew. Parents and/or the minor can be fined up to $50 for the first violation.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, let's move on to the next item on the agenda.
We have had residents questioning the traffic by the Metro tracks. The old Metro station, located at Cedar Road and Route 30, is scheduled to be relocated the week of June 4th through the 8th. We are working with the Will County Sheriff's Department, Metro, and other agencies to assist with traffic control as the station is relocated.
Is it the responsibility of the New Lenox Police Department to provide traffic control if the gates get stuck or a train gets stuck on the Metro tracks?
Our officers will respond to the scene to assess the situation and to control traffic. Metro will be notified, and if there is not a quick solution to the problem, Metro employees will be responsible to the scene as well.
Thank you for that report. Moving on the agenda to sidewalk installation. Public Works Superintendent Minarick. Please give your report.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works has been meeting with the Will County Highway Department to work with them on installation of a sidewalk along North Cedar Road between Francis and Lenox Road that would allow students attending Liberty Junior High to use as a means to walk safely to school. An engineering study was performed, and because there is not a lot of room on the sides of the road, because of ditches and utility poles, and the fact that the existing bridge south of Lenox Road is narrow, the cost for the sidewalk installation makes it not feasible for the county at this time. With the section being a county road, there is little we can do without their approval and participation.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
How long of a stretch is it from Francis Road to Lenox Road?
It is 1,600 feet with the cost of around $600,000.
Who can I talk to at the county about this to stress how important a sidewalk or bike path is for the kids attending Liberty?
Ray Tumanello and Tom Weigel are the Will County board members representing our district.
Thank you for that report. Now let's move on to potholes in the road.
I wanted to make the village board aware that we are working diligently to finish repairing all the potholes in the streets from the severe winter we had.
How many potholes were repaired this winter?
So far, we have had 1,058 pothole work orders since December 1st.
What time and material is involved in that many repairs?
The Public Works Department has spent 400 man-hours in labor and used 60,000 pounds of patching material.
Thank you. Are there any more comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, let's move on to the last item on the agenda, which is LED lights.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to update the board on a lighting project. Public Works has completed converting the streetlights along West Haven Avenue and Ellis Road from high-pressure sodium to LED, and paperwork was submitted to ComEd Streetlight Incentive Program.
Excellent job. Please thank your department. Are there any comments or questions from the village board?
Yes, good job, Public Works Department. How much can the village accept back from the incentive program?
We can expect about 45% back from what our costs were from material, labor, and equipment.
What is the payback period for converting a streetlight to LED?
With the incentive program, the village will start realizing these savings 6 years from installation.
Village Clerk Stiglich, please give your report on the upcoming general election.
The 2018 general election will be held on November 6th. Early voting at the Village Hall will start on Monday, October 22nd and run through Friday, November 2nd. Hours of early voting are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Please check our Facebook page and website for more information.
Thank you for that report. Are there any more comments or questions from the board? Are there any comments or questions from the floor? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
I second that motion.
Clerk Stiglich, please call roll.
Trustee DeCola.
Yes.
Trustee Heelsman.
Yes.
Trustee Kokolka.
Yes.
Trustee Scroggins.
Yes.
Trustee Denolfo.
Yes.
Trustee Greco.
Yes.
Mayor Sorelius.
Yes. Motion carries, meeting adjourned.
Okay, great job, guys. Congratulations. Thank you all for being here. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you to our schools for participating, as always, St. Jude, Martino, and Liberty Junior High. The kids work hard on this. It is actually a very informative meeting. I just found out tonight that we're not getting a Chick-fil-A, so thank you for telling me something I didn't know. But we really do appreciate the schools participating. It's important for us. I know when I go and speak to the kids at the school, whether it's at the junior high or the high school, we really try, or even in the elementary school, we really try and talk about local government and the impact that it has. Everybody wants to talk about what's happening in Washington or in Springfield, but the reality is it's what's happening right here. This is where your roads get fixed. This is where your property tax dollars go. This is who's educating your children and whatnot. So we want the young people of our community to know what it's all about. So as they get a little older, perhaps they'll be crazy enough to put their name on a ballot and do what we do, because we can't do it forever. So it is really important to have active people involved in our community. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, Mayor, you did such a great job tonight. We're working on the sewer treatment plant, so if you wouldn't mind staying, you can handle that for me tonight, okay? You good with that? They'll be talking about you on Facebook tomorrow. All right, but thank you. All right, Mayor, you did such a good job. You're not done yet. It's time for you to introduce everybody and hand them their plaques. So if you'd like to step up, here you go.
Trustee Abigail Denolfo. Trustee Olivia DeCola. Trustee Harrison Scroggins. Trustee Maddie Katolka. Trustee Michael Greco. Trustee Lindsay Kulsman. Community Development Director, Assistant Administrator Justin Public Works Superintendent Tristan Minarick. Finance Director Amanda Barta. Police Chief Tommy Snyder. Village Clerk Emma Stiglick. Civil Engineer Katie Nash. Village Administrator Sydney Slonsky. Chief Building Inspector Christian Baumgartner. Economic Development Coordinator John Banks.
And our mayor, Nick Cerullius. I want to say thank you to all of our staff, our village clerk, Laura Rule, Robin Ellis. Thank you, our assistant administrator, and all of our department heads that worked very closely with the kids so they got a good idea of how everything worked. We've been doing this for many, many years. We want it to continue, but so thank you to all of our staff members. We have a couple trustees here. I know Trustee Butterfield, it comes every year, and Trustee Madsen's here, so thank you for coming out. And again, thank you for taking time out from your busy evening. Have a great rest of your school year and a safe summer, everybody. Congratulations. Thank you.